You've been hearing that the real estate market in Prince George's County and Washington, D.C. is slowing down. That's true, but not in the way that you would typically think. Prices are not crashing, homes are still selling, but buyers do have more options, homes are taking longer to sell, and sellers are having to work just a little bit harder to get the price that they want. So today I'm going to be breaking down exactly what's happening in the market in Washington, D.C., Prince George's County, and Bowie, Maryland. I'm going to be going through mortgage rates, inventory, and more importantly, what that means for you if you're looking to buy or sell right now. My name is Russell Carter. I'm a realtor with the War Team at Keller Williams Capital Properties. Let's dig right in. Let's start off with everyone's favorite topic to talk about, interest rates. Interest rates on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage is going to be right around 6.65%. We have been hovering right around 6.65% for the past couple weeks. So what that means for you as a buyer is that if you're looking to purchase a $500,000 home using an FHA loan, putting 3.5% down in Prince George's County or Washington, D.C., your monthly mortgage payment is going to be between $4,300 to $4,500 per month. Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm going to wait till the interest rates come down in order for me to buy a home, which is not a bad strategy. But the thing is, no one has a crystal ball and we don't know when the rates are going to come down. And if the rates actually do fall, what that means is that more buyers are going to jump into the market and there's going to be more competition. What I would rather you to do instead is examine the entire opportunity and look at each home specifically. Can you negotiate a lower list price? Can you negotiate for the seller to make some repairs or provide to you some seller paid closing cost help? Or more importantly, can you afford the monthly mortgage payment? Because what I want you to know as a buyer, that in this market right now, you have so many more options than we did 3 or 4 years ago in the crazy COVID market. Let's talk about the market in Prince George's County. The average home price in Prince George's County is $459,000, which is roughly what it was at this point last year. And what that means is that when people tell you that the prices are falling in the area, they're really not. There may be some neighborhoods where we've seen a little bit of a dip, but overall the market in PG is relatively stable. Now, what I will tell you is that the market has slowed. Last year, days on market was about 39 days. Now, days on market is about 45 days. Also, what I've noticed is that homes are selling at 99.5% of the list price. And what that tells me is that buyers are negotiating again. They're not negotiating huge discounts, but they are getting some wins, and sellers are budging a little bit off of the list price. So those days when we've seen a property jump on the market, get multiple offers, and it was gone in 1 and 2 days are currently in the past. And just for right now. And that means that we're in a relatively healthy space. What I'm seeing with my sellers, if you're selling a home right now, there are 3 things that matter more than they did in the past: price, presentation, and condition. You can't automatically look at your neighbor's home that sold in a completely different market a few years ago and think that you're going to get $50,000 more than that. What I will tell you is that buyers are spending more time online searching for homes. They're looking at days on market. They're also looking at the condition of the property in comparison to other comparable homes that are selling in the neighborhood or in the general area. Also, I want to mention that people are paying attention, buyers are paying attention to how the property presents online. So you want the marketing for your property to look really well. Do not post your property online if it's not ready to go. So if you only have one picture up, don't even post your property. If you haven't cut the grass or decluttered the interior, buyers are paying attention to that. And because they have more options, they're not under any pressure to make a decision quickly. So if you post your property and the curb appeal is not correct or the inside doesn't look good, it may get your property skipped over. Lastly, I want to talk about price reductions. Buyers are currently paying attention to how many price reductions a seller is making or how many homes in the neighborhood are having price reductions. And what that means is that don't price your property too aggressively, because if you price your property too aggressively, you could end up chasing the market and lose out on a potential buyer. I would rather see you price your home accordingly the first time, have it to present well, have it to be in a great condition, and we market it aggressively, and then let's see how the market responds. Now let's talk about what's happening in Bowie, which is a little bit closer to home. Average home prices in Bowie are around 488,000, and average days on market are about 36 days right now, which in my opinion is a relatively strong market in Bowie. But the averages don't tell the whole story. And I want to put an emphasis on that this is a very property specific market. So you can have a well-priced property in good condition, go on the market and be gone in 1 to 2 days and sell above the list price. And you can have another home that may be overpriced and it sits for weeks and ends up selling below the list price. And I'm seeing both examples of that right here in Bowie. So right now, you can't really say that Bowie is slow or Bowie is hot. What we're seeing is that homes that are priced correctly, in good condition, and have good presentation are still moving relatively quickly. And homes that are not are taking a little bit longer to sell. Now, for my buyers, this is the part where I want you to tap in. This is the most important information for you. And I'm going to say this a million times. You have more leverage. I have never seen a time in my almost 10-year career where the buyers have as much leverage as they have right now. Now, that doesn't mean that you can negotiate $50,000 off of a $400,000 or $500,000 house. But I think this is the time for you to be curious and ask certain questions. Why has the property been sitting on the market so long? Why is the seller looking to sell? Are they open to paying my closing costs? Can they pay my realtor commission? Will they make repairs? Those are the questions that I would be asking so you can kind of see if you can put together a good opportunity for yourself. And again, I don't want to sound like a dead horse, right? Like I'm beating a dead horse. You guys as buyers, my buyer clients, did not have this leverage in the market a few years ago, and you have the leverage right now. So I know you're very interest rate sensitive. Everybody's counting their money right now, but don't turn a blind eye to the fact that you have the advantage right now. And I want you guys to take full advantage of what's happening in the market right now. Also for my buyers, I want to mention that sometimes it's not about finding the cheapest house. It's about finding the most motivated seller. And that's why you want to ask those questions, because if you can find a motivated seller, you can find the right opportunity. Now let's talk about what's happening in DC. In DC, the average home price is about $700,000, which is a slight decline from where we were during this period last year. Also, days on market are about 47 days right now. Now, me personally, I think that's primarily being driven by the condo market. The condo market in DC is kind of bad. It never really recovered from the COVID market. You're seeing a lot of condos on the market and you're seeing a lot of price reductions in the condo market. But the one thing I will tell you about DC is that you cannot base the DC market off of the averages. DC is a hyper local market and is very neighborhood specific. So you may see one neighborhood where you have, or one area where you have a lot of price reductions, and you see another neighborhood that is really, really hot and homes are moving fast. So I wouldn't pay too much attention to the national headlines or the averages when it comes to DC. I would reach out to your local real estate professional and get the local market data for the community or the neighborhood that you're interested in. So for my buyers, let me answer this question again. Should you wait or should you buy right now? And it really depends on your personal situation. The one thing I would not do is wait for a market crash or waiting for the perfect time for interest rates to drop. I'm going to say it again. What I'm seeing locally are price reductions, longer days on market, and more inventory. And I will tell you that you have more leverage to negotiate right now than you would have if the interest rates suddenly dropped. So for my sellers, should you sell or should you wait? And I'm going to tell you, do not panic. homes are still selling, but our strategy has to be pricing correctly, preparing it for market, and making sure that it's in a great condition. You also have to have patience in this market because we know days on market are a little bit longer and buyers are going to be a little bit slower to respond. We know that we may have to wait a little bit before we get that number that we're looking for. The biggest takeaways for this week is that the market is not dead, it's just much more balanced. Buyers have more leverage, the sellers are having to work a little bit harder in order to get their homes sold. But in my opinion, I think this is a much healthier market than what we saw a few years ago when the buyers had to waive just about everything. If you're thinking about buying or selling in Bowie, Washington, D.C., or Prince George's County, and you want to know what the market looks like for you specifically, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. My name is Russell Carter. I'm a realtor with the War Team at Keller Williams Capital Properties, and I'm going to be dropping these market update videos for you guys every single week just so you know what's going on at the local level. I'll see you again soon.